Your name, your address, and your phone number are floating around the internet. Easy for strangers, scammers, and companies you've never heard of to find. Data brokers and shady databases collect and sell your private details to anyone willing to pay, putting you at risk of nonstop spam, scams, and fraud. You can't stop them from collecting data, but you can control who gets to keep it. That's why I use Incogni. They remove your private information from more than 420 of these sites automatically. And with their unlimited plan, you get total coverage. If you spot your personal details anywhere else online, just send them the link, and their privacy experts will get it taken down. It's the easiest, most complete way to protect yourself and personal life. Right now, you can lock in 60% off with my exclusive deal at privacykim.com. Go to privacykim.com right now and start protecting your privacy. This is so important. Privacykim.com. That's privacykim.com.
Welcome to the Kim Komando Show podcast for the weekend of September 21st, 2024. Thank you for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour one.
All right, let me ask you a question. How far can your Wi-Fi reach? How far does it really go? I know, I can hear you saying like, well, it's not outside. It doesn't get to the back bedroom. It doesn't get to the basement. It's not in the attic, wherever it is. Well, the reason why I bring this up is this past week, a company was able to make Wi-Fi stretch. Listen to this. 9.9 miles. Oh my gosh. It's a new world record for how far a Wi-Fi signal can go. The testing happened in Joshua Tree National Park, such a beautiful place, which is ideal because there's not a lot of interference, right? And you see, that's the thing about tech. It's always getting better. And that's why you need me to keep you tech ahead so you're never tech left behind. I'm, of course, Kim Komando, America's beloved digital goddess, here with you. And you have just tapped into the biggest show, the best show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top radio stations across the United States. We're streaming in your favorite radio app. And you can also get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. That's right. Wherever you get your podcasts, just search for my last name. That's with a K, of course. And a big hello and salute goes out to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, reaching over 375,000 U.S. service members in 175 countries and 200 ships at sea. Just love that. Hey, great sponsors help to make this show possible. And throughout the show, I always give out some money-saving deals and some unique URLs and addresses. And in case you want to check them all out, and you're like, oh, what was that deal for Incogni? What was that deal for NetSuite, Oracle, whatever it may be, just head over to komando.com/sponsors. That's komando.com/sponsors. All right, just for you, dear listener, I go to at least 35, 40 different websites to make sure we both know what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know right now. And, everybody's looking at what's going on and they say, oh, this is George Orwell's novel, 1984. Okay. And I don't know if a lot of people even read the book, but apparently Larry Ellison did. Larry Ellison is, of course, the billionaire founder of Oracle, one of the world's largest companies. And he was speaking at a meeting at his company's investors when he wandered onto the topic of surveillance. From Ring doorbells to cameras at every single intersection, your banks, the gas station, stores, anywhere you can imagine, even places where you can't imagine, we know that we're all being recorded. It's kind of like the new normal. Well, Ellison's prediction is that with AI, all cameras can easily be converted into this massive global surveillance system where citizens will be on their best behavior. Those were the words that he used. And when someone misbehaves, the system will notify the appropriate authority automatically. Yes. So 1984, the novel, might be a cliche comparing it to today's times, but I think Larry Ellison's onto something. Moving on to number 2, I'm sure you've seen the news. This past week, thousands of handheld pagers used by Hezbollah exploded all at once. And then the very next day, another round of explosions came, this time with their two-way radios. Sounds like something straight out of Mission Impossible. Well, Israel hasn't officially taken credit for the attacks as I speak, but some officials told U.S. sources how it went down on the condition that they would remain anonymous. You see, Hezbollah ordered the pagers from a company in Taiwan, but before they got to Lebanon, they actually made a stop in Budapest. And it's there that the general thought is that's where the Israelis intercepted them and rigged them with tiny explosives. They set it up so a remote switch could trigger the bombs. The pagers got a message that looked like it was from Hezbollah's leaders, and then the explosive went off. Lebanon's health minister said at least 20 people died and more than 2,800 were injured. Now, this is the kind of attack I've never heard of before. And so you might be thinking to yourself, well, wow, could this actually happen with our smartphones? It is technically possible, but it's highly unlikely because rigging phones with explosives would require direct access to all the devices. Plus, smartphones have stronger security and oversight than, say, pagers and two-way radios. Moving on to number 3, I read this story in the New York Post about Dr. Michael Kahana, a psychologist studying memory problems from brain injuries, but also that general forgetfulness that we all have to deal with. Well, earlier this year, he had this major realization that our memory has ups and downs throughout the day, even minute by minute. And that's just how our brains work. So he started thinking, how can we keep our brains in good memory mode all the time? And that led to a breakthrough. Dr. Kahana's team worked with 47 epilepsy patients who had electrodes or brain chips implanted. The electrodes could tell when someone was having trouble remembering something and then sent a small pulse to that part of the brain that handles memory. The result, memory recall improved by almost 30%. Wow, isn't that something? Moving on to number 4, parents, grandparents, you got to really listen up to this one because there's a dangerous trend with kids online right now. It's called Galaxy Gas. The kids are buying it online. You've probably heard of Whippets, the stuff that people inhale from whipped cream cans and they get high that way. But kids have definitely stepped it up. They're buying professional-grade nitrous oxide, the kind used in commercial kitchens, Michelin star restaurants where they make large batches of whipped cream and they want to give it certain flavors like peach or strawberry or blackberry, whatever it may be. The stuff is sold on sites like eBay and Amazon disguised as whipped cream chargers or whipped cream dispenser cartridges. And it's all over TikTok, Instagram, where it's being pushed as a fun party tool. Well, videos are online of kids inhaling this Galaxy gas. They get lightheaded, they get dizzy, they get relaxed. But one of the things that they don't know is that it could cause permanent memory issues and nerve damage. So you might want to talk to your kids about this. Galaxy gas is a no-no. And then finally, this coming in at number 5, EVs are just sitting on dealer lots, just taking up space. And what that means, if you're looking for a budget car, this might be something for you. You can lease a Hyundai for just $250 a month. You can get a Nissan Leaf for as low as $20 a month. Yeah, I said $20. How is that possible? Well, dealers are desperate to move all the cars off their lots. They're just slashing prices. And leased EVs are classified as commercial vehicles. This is where it's happening. That mean they qualify for the full $7,500 tax credit, and then that saving gets passed to you. And if you're buying an EV, it has to be made in the U.S. to get the credit. Now, I'm not a big fan of EVs. I would always go hybrid, but if you are looking for one, you might want to, check out the deals in your area. All right, we're going to talk about car companies, how they're collecting a ton of data on you, some ways to spot the AI fakes, how Mark Cuban got scammed, and of course, we have all of your great phone calls, and you have me, Kim Commando, so stay right where you are. Hey, there's still time for you to enter to win the brand new iPhone 16 that we're giving away. You just need to go to this spot, winfromkim.com. No purchase is required, by the way. That's winfromkim.com. That's where you can enter to win that brand new iPhone 16. You're going to love it. winfromkim.com. All right, how about we get started with Robert in Morrisville, North Carolina. Hi there, Robert.
Hey, how you doing, Kim?
I am great. Thank you for your call. What's going on?
Before I get started, I wanted to tell you how much I've enjoyed hearing about the Google algorithm and, how Google search is changing over the last few months.
Oh, my gosh, it has.
Really interesting stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's affecting everybody. It's affecting, it doesn't matter if you're a small web operator or you're this massive website, is that because of the way that we've all become dependent upon Google for our revenues, and now that Google's not delivering the traffic to your website like it used to, boy, you're just seeing so many different layoffs. I don't know if you heard me talking about the website CNET.
No.
Okay. CNET sold to CBS like 4 years ago for like 1.8 or something like that, $1.4 billion. Huge.
Okay.
Because I was sitting there when that happened. I'm like, hey, what about me?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Where's my part?
Exactly. What about KNET? KNET would be good. We would like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And so nobody called me back, just funny. To let you know.
Yeah, you to come back.
And so, but they just sold CNET not too long ago to Ziff Davis for $100 million.
Well, again, I certainly do appreciate you taking my call. I have a question that's not related to Google search, but and I'm actually a sales rep for a company here in Charlotte, and I have just started graduate school.
Awesome.
And so what I'm doing is, as a sales rep, I'm traveling around all the time. I'm listening to podcasts all the time, and I actually even have the Amazon version of where you can listen to books on your
Audible. Yes.
Audible, exactly. Yeah, where you listen on your phone. And so I was looking for something that is like, I guess what I'm looking for is text to voice, so that I can take a textbook or a PDF file or, something that has been assigned to me to read, and so I can listen to it in my car since I drive so much.
Oh, for sure. For sure. What kind of phone do you have?
I found one, but it was kind of expensive, and so I just, I thought of you, and I thought, well, she'll have some good ideas about this. So there you go. That's my question.
Because she's cheap. We know that.
Well, that's not what Clark Howard said.
Oh, you know what? Let me tell you something. Me and Clark. Okay. Clark is going on Southwest. I'm not. I'm just telling you right now. That's just the way it is. I love Clark Howard, and I respect Clark Howard, but it ain't for me. There are certain things in life that I will pay for, like 2-ply toilet paper. Not Clark. Clark's going for the 1-ply.
I'm just going to tell you, building a fence. That's one of those things in life that it's worth to pay somebody else for.
It sure is. All right. So, all right. So here's the deal. What kind of phone do you have?
It's an iPhone.
Okay.
iPhone. Yeah.
With your iPhone, that has this thing called accessibility settings, and it's called spoken content. And I can give you the steps. We'll send you the steps on how to do it. So basically, on your iPhone,
awesome.
you just open a document, a website, PDF, whatever you want to listen to, and you swipe down with a couple of fingers, then you activate what's called Speak Screen. And then it's just going to read the content directly to you. You don't need to buy anything. You need to do anything. Now,
no kidding, really?
So you can adjust the voice, whatever you want to do. If you're on Android, just because we have some folks who are listening there on Android, basically you have the same thing. It's in the accessibility settings of your phone, and it's called Select to Speak. So that said, but you might be sitting there like at some point, and you're saying like, well, I don't really know if this is really working for me, because you mentioned a standalone product. There's something called Voice Dream Reader that might be better for you, because it does PDF, docs, EPUBs, TXT files, whatever it is. It's like $15. So, but
it's like a one-time thing. It's not like a subscription.
Exactly. It's a one-time, but they're going to try to upsell you along the way. It's like every other app does. Yeah, and they would be not savvy business people if they did not try to do that, right?
Right.
And so you could try Voice Dream Reader. Now, if you find yourself at some point where you're like, I think I need to scan in certain things or take pictures of certain things, and I want that read, that's when you have to, now we're going into monthly subscription fees of something called Natural Reader. So at the bottom of the barrel, you can try the accessibility on your iPhone, and that may be all you need. Okay. And if that doesn't work, then try this Voice Dream Reader. And then if you find yourself at some point saying, I want a little bit more than that, Kim Commando, then look at Natural Reader. Again, that's going to be like $10, $12 a month. The other one's just a $15 purchase. And I'm so proud of you for going to graduate school. That's amazing. You know what? You're never too old to up your game, because after all, you've heard me say this, if you don't innovate, you will evaporate. He seems like such a great guy, doesn't he? Alan in Indianapolis, Indiana. Hey, Alan.
Hey, Miss Kim, how you doing?
I am fantastic. Thanks for your call.
Hey, I'm a father of 5 grown children, and they gave my wife and I one of these digital picture frames for a birthday once, and they would send their pictures, of the grandkids and stuff like that. But what we want to do, since my father passed away and somebody gave us some money, is we want to give them all a digital picture frame this year that has the ability to just send to one email, and everybody gets everybody's pictures all at once. Is that possible?
Yeah, you're going to have to do some configurations, but what a great gift that is. Basically, you're going to purchase a frame for each of the family member, And then you create an account or accounts on the frames. You do that in probably an app, or you can do it on a website. And then what you do is you're going to create shared albums or groups. You can invite all the kids to join the group or the album by using their email addresses. And then once they're joined, every one of your children can upload photos to this shared space. Okay. One of the best photo frames out there is called the Aura Carver. That's AURA Carver. We'll send you out. When we put you on hold, we'll send you out a link to it. So don't worry about it. They're not very expensive. They're about $150 each. But it's the one that I've used with my family, and it's really wonderful. It's just really simple to use. It's easy. And especially around the holidays, it does make a really great gift because now everybody can share all their photos and everybody's like kind of all synced up. And what's nice, you can set it up as horizontally, vertically, whatever it may be. And it's a pretty good size frame. It's 10.1 inch. And again, it's called the Aura Carver, AURA Carver. Alan, hang on the line. Lovely Amber will send you out a link to that so you can take a look at it right now on Amazon, and appreciate you getting through today. All right. If you haven't signed into your Google account lately, today is the day because Google has started to massively delete any accounts that haven't been logged into Gmail for the last 2 years. And, other companies are doing the same thing. X only gives you 30 days where you haven't signed in. eBay's timeline's super vague. They say a substantial period. PayPal, if you don't log in within 2 years, they're going to close your account. Any money that you had in there, you lost. But just always want to keep that in mind. Hey, listen, we have some more important tips, tricks, and secrets to pass along, as well as your phone calls here on the Kim Komando Show. If you own a home, listen up. This is scary. The FBI is warning about a crime on the rise, home title theft. And it doesn't happen the way you might think. No break-ins, no stolen keys, just a forged signature on a single piece of paper filed with the county. In minutes, criminals can transfer the title out of your name, then use your ownership to drain your equity or even sell your home. The worst part, most people don't know what's happening until they get collection or foreclosure notices in the mail. That's why I trust Home Title Lock. When you visit HometitleLock.com/Kim, you'll get a free title history report and a 14-day free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection, including 24/7 monitoring of your home's title, urgent alerts to changes, and if fraud does happen. Their U.S.-based restoration team will work to restore your title, covering costs up to $1 million. Don't wait. Protect your home and equity today. Get your free 14-day trial at HometitleLock.com/Kim. That's HometitleLock.com/Kim. Now, your car is just this roving computer on wheels. What does that mean? It's connected to the internet. And what does that mean? It's just collecting a ton of data on you. We're talking more about that in just a few minutes. And of course, we have more of your phone calls. But let's talk about how to spot the AI fakes first. Forget trying to spot if a pic is just photoshopped. Now you can't even trust if that person's real. So here are some signs that you can tell if what you're looking at is AI generated. Number one, does the person in the image look perfect? I mean, perfect, symmetrical. Okay, most people, they don't look the same left to right. So if you fold it in half, if it's identical, it's probably AI generated. Number two, check the proportions of what's in the foreground or the background, because maybe you can see a tree that's really big or really small, a person who's really big or small. So again, proportions are important. And finally, odd shadows, and take a look at the lighting. I mean, is the photo defying the law of physics? Then it's probably made by AI, especially if the shadows go in all directions. And if you're still feeling like, I'm just not sure if this is real or AI, there's a website, aiornot.com. That's aiornot.com. And that's where you can just go ahead and just plug in an image, upload it, or even the URL and tell you whether or not it thinks that it's AI generated or not. If you've ever faced a medical problem that just seemed like it had no solution, Gary LaRocque totally knows how you feel. After a 5-year wait on an organ donation list for a kidney, he was starting to lose hope. And that's when he and his family decided to try something new, something different. A Facebook post. His daughter needed a photo of Gary on her social media, him in a shirt that says organ donor needed. Well, this is really crazy. That Facebook post caught the eye of Cecilia Hendy, a homeschool mom of 5. Something about Gary's message, she said, just resonated with her. So it's not every single day that you hear about someone donating a kidney to a total stranger. So here to talk to us about it is Gary and Cecilia. Wow, what a story. Amazing.
Thanks for having us.
It's a crazy story, that's for sure.
So, Gary, what happened that led you up to this point where you actually needed to have a kidney donated?
Well, I believe it was high blood pressure and diabetes that, ruined my kidney.
And Cecilia, you were just like scrolling on Facebook and you ran across this?
I was. The power of social media. I was one quiet morning just scrolling on Facebook, and the black and white sweatshirt that said kidney donor needed just caught my attention immediately. And I thought, why not? I think I'm free to do this.
But that's a really big step to donate a kidney to a total stranger.
It is. And honestly, as soon as I saw the picture, I just felt it in my whole soul that I was supposed to do this. And I knew it was going to be me, some divine intervention. And I didn't tell anybody. I went and got tested, and I was a match.
Wow. And so Gary, how did you find out that all this was going on?
Well, my transplant coordinator called and said that, what did you do? She got more than just Cecilia's call. She got some other calls as well. And she wanted to know what I did to get all this, all this interest. Then I knew somebody was testing, but we didn't know who it was. Then later on, she has a crazy story about meeting my daughter in a parking lot.
Oh, well, let's go there next. Tell us about that.
Okay, so maybe 3 days after I found out I was a match, I hadn't reached out to the family yet. I knew them through mutual friends on Facebook, and I hadn't seen his daughter in about 10 years. And I was just driving through a Target parking lot, and she was right in front of my car. So I was able to pull over,
oh gosh,
run out, tell her the good news. So we had a moment in the Target parking lot where we just hugged and cried.
Wow. And then Gary, how did you find out all this was going on?
Well, my daughter, she told us that she says, "Mom, Dad, can you get Mom and you both get on the phone?" And I thought, oh man, she got in an accident or something. She sounded like she was crying. And sure enough, she brought up Cecilia's name and told us all about the story. And it was just crazy. She says, I'm in. I'm all in. Still brings tears to my eyes.
Well, you know what, Gary? If it didn't, I'd be worried about you, right? Okay. I mean, this is a totally 100% life-changing moment that just happened. I mean,
Totally.
Well, what was life like before the transplant as compared to now?
Well, no freedom at all. Hooked to a hose. Every night I had to hook up to dialysis, 8 hours. And now I'm free. I'm just totally free to do anything I want to do.
Wow.
Feeling great. Just awesome.
And that must just incredibly warm your heart, Cecilia, right?
Absolutely. So many miracles that led up to the surgery, we were on the right path. We live miles from each other, which was another miracle. And now that we're on the other side of surgery, I get to see Gary sitting in his hot tub drinking coffee in the morning or out in their new RV, camping overnight because he's not hooked to equipment. And it just brings so much joy to my life. And I get to teach my kids that we can do big things.
And I was going to ask you about the takeaway, is that anything is possible and to help each other and mankind. I mean, we live in a time where every news story is just negative, and people are angry and mean, and especially on social media. Sometimes people get anonymous and they get, these alter egos, but it's really wonderful to hear a nice story, a good story. Well, organ donation is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. I was 14 years old when I had a cornea transplant. And I had it's one of those things like when you're running in the playground, your mother says, be careful, you're going to get poked in the eye. You're like, no, I'll be fine. I got poked in the eye, right? And the transplant lasted a really long time. And then this past May, I got another cornea transplant to replace the original one. And I can tell you, it's been life-changing for me. I went from 2,400 in my right eye to now it's at 2,100. I've got to get the stitches out, and we're hoping to get down to 2,050. And so I encourage anybody who's listening, check that box, on your driver's license to donate your organs, because, you don't need them anymore. Okay. You don't. It just,
if you can't donate an organ, donate blood or share someone else's social media post. you never know where it's going to lead.
Well, I suspect that you guys are going to be joined at the proverbial hip for many, many years.
Yep, for sure.
Well, thank you for sharing your inspirational story with us, and God bless you, both of you. Hey, if you want to hear the entire interview, this was actually part of my podcast that I do every Monday, Wednesday, Friday called Kim Commando Today. Now, Kim Commando Today is a podcast. It's different than the show. I mean, here on the show, we pass along so much information and I take your phone calls. Kim Commando Today is more a relaxed version of this where, we kind of kick back and we talk about maybe a scandal that's happening in the tech world or some other tech news that maybe it doesn't warrant being here on the show, but it's still important enough for you guys and gals to know. And I also do these interviews like you just heard. So wherever you get your podcast, search for Kim Commando Today. Again, that's Commando with a K. Oh, this past week, Ian had his debut. My son, he graduated from college and he's here working in the studios, learning how to sell, among other things. So I said, hey, how about if we did a new segment? We're going to call it Gen Z Made Easy. And he's like, I'm game. So he came on the podcast. So in case you want to check that out, it was this past week's Wednesday podcast. You can go ahead and watch that at youtube.com/Kim Commando. That's youtube.com/Kim Commando. I will say that kid is a chip off the old block. Man, I was really impressed. I mean, it's not easy doing what we do, but he just came in, wasn't nervous at all. And he talked about Gen Z type stuff. Again, that's youtube.com/Kim Commando. All right. This report really surprised me. And I truly deal with this stuff all the time. As you know, a woman shared a creepy story about how her abusive ex-husband tracked her through her Mercedes-Benz. She moved away to stay with her daughter, and then she noticed this weird message pop up in her car display. And it was Embrace. So she looked it up. That's Mercedes Me. It was the app that she used to make her loan payments, but she didn't know it could also track her location. Then one night, her ex-husband texted the guy that she was seeing a thumbs up emoji, and a nearby camera caught his car driving in the area. So horrified, she called Mercedes and tried to cut off her ex-husband's access from the car. Although she had been making the payments, the loan and the title were in her ex's name. Reps at Mercedes said her ex was still the customer, so they couldn't remove him from the app. So here's the bottom line, is that if you are in a situation where you have an ex, a stalker, whatever it is, make sure that you really pay attention to the apps that you've signed up with, especially any that are tied to your car. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls you just can't afford to miss here on the Kim Commando Show. Patricia in El Paso, Texas. Glad to have you on board with us.
How you doing, Kim?
I'm great. What's going on?
Well, I have a question for you. By the way, I just wanted to mention to you, I've listened to your show for some period of time, long time actually, and I also get your weekly newsletter, The Current.
Yes.
And that's where my question is coming from. I saw in your most recent article you had about the FDA has approved the Apple AirPod. That's great, but what about for those of us out here that only have Android systems?
Yeah, right. You're like, what about me? Okay. I mean, I'm a person too. Okay. I mean, even though you're on Android, I guess we'll let you on the show. Oh my gosh. Okay. So for everybody who doesn't know, iPhones now work with AirPod 2s, and they can serve as hearing aids. Just got FDA clearance if you have mild to moderate hearing loss. And mild to moderate hearing loss is basically you can't really hear a whisper or distant conversations. And every once in a while you say, hey, what was that you said? Can you repeat yourself? And so it's really for if you have any other hearing loss, it's not going to work. But if for mild to moderate, it should be a real game changer that you can just put in AirPods and then you'll be able to amplify whatever conversation, whatever you're listening to. So with Android products, it's not there yet. But the fact that Apple has gotten FDA clearance on their technology, means that Google and the other folks are probably sitting there saying, like, we better get our act together, right? Okay. Because there are a lot of boomers and older folks and even younger folks who could benefit from this technology. And if we don't have it, guess what? Somebody may be inclined to say, you know what? I'm going to just go get an iPhone. I'm going to get AirPods. I'm not going to stick on Android. For Android, there's a different protocol. It's called audio streaming for hearing aid. That's ASHA. But it hasn't quite made its way into Android-based earbuds yet. But I would fully expect Samsung and the others to be rolling this out in short order. And this is interesting to me, Patricia, because normally whatever Samsung has, if you look at it, Apple's sitting there going like, we have that too, a year later. Okay. Or 2 years later.
Okay. All right.
Okay. But now it's kind of like Android folks are sitting over there saying like, they just scooped us up on this and we should have seen it happening. And they should have seen it happening because for years, there's been something called active listening on an AirPod. And what that meant, Patricia, is that let's say I have AirPods, right? And I leave one of my AirPods in your living room. But meanwhile, I'm outside washing the car. But I know that you're talking smack about me inside. So I can leave that AirPod in your living room and be washing the car and hearing you saying, I don't know about that Kim Commando. I don't know about her. She used to be good. She ain't good no more. No more. Don't know what happened to her.
I would not say that.
Oh.
I wouldn't say that.
All right, good. So in answer to your question, I don't know when it's coming out. I'm not sure. But you can bet your bottom dollar that it'll be rolling out here pretty darn quick. Patricia, thanks for your call today. Jim in Jackson, Wyoming, you're up next.
Hey, Kim, how are you?
I'm good. I love Jackson. So beautiful up there. Gosh.
Well, I'm actually not there right now. I'm down near you in Scottsdale.
Oh, are you? Well, I like Scottsdale too. Okay, so
I know. No, I followed you for the last 3 or 4 or 5 years, and I've learned a lot of tech stuff. But just as important, Kim, the websites and products that you tell us about are really good, and I know you've researched them, so they're valid. And that's something that we just don't find on the web these days. So thank you for that good work. Just keep it up.
Thank you, Jim. Thanks for your kind words.
You bet.
So how can I lend a hand?
Well, I have an iPhone Pro 14 Pro Max.
Okay.
And get this, I have over 70,000 read emails.
Whoa.
In my inbox. I have not been diligent in getting rid of my mail over the years.
Wow.
Now, I know how to delete, one at a time or a page at a time or maybe 50 at a time. But is there a way I can delete all of those 70,000 emails in just one swoop?
Well, and they're all in your inbox, right?
Yeah, they're all in my inbox.
Yeah. So what I would do is I would create another folder. And I'd call it junk or getting rid of my old life, whatever you want to call it. And you can do a Control A that will select all in the existing folder. So you're going to go to the inbox, do a Control A in the existing folder, move it all into that folder that you just created. And then I'd right click on the folder and I'd delete the folder.
Okay. Nobody has been able to tell me that. I've asked AT&T people, and nobody has come up with that solution, Jim.
Well, it's how come I know this solution, Jim? You know why?
Why?
Because at the end of every year, you know what I do? Just that. I delete them all.
Okay.
And then people are always saying to me like, well, what if you missed an email along the way that you didn't answer? If it's important, they'll write me back, So it's not a big deal. It's, sometimes new year, fresh start. Jim, thanks for all your kind words about the work that we do here and happy to have helped you. And Scottsdale, I hope you're playing some golf. Gosh, beautiful this time of year in Phoenix. Jim, again, thank you for your call. Okay, it doesn't matter what you think you know about cryptocurrency. You can still get scammed. Take, for instance, billionaire Dallas Mavericks owner and Shark Tank host Mark Cuban. He was caught up in a cryptocurrency token market crash. Yes. Iron or Titan crashed in minutes from over $60 each to just $0. It was triggered by the whales, owners of large amounts of cryptocurrency. When it went down from $65 to $60, the whales panicked, sold it all, and then it just crashed, and Cuban lost all his money. Yeah. I know, crazy story. Hey, get my free newsletter at getkim.com.
Thanks for listening to The Kim Commando Show. Here's hour 2.
Okay, you remember the song. 8675309. Okay, I'm horrible at singing. I get that. Okay, I'm much better just talking. But that's Jenny's number. Yes, you remember Jenny. Well, the reason why I bring this up, the next time you're at a store and you do not have your loyalty card, try using the area code followed by 8675309. Why? Tons of people use fake numbers when signing up for those loyalty programs. And get this, Jenny's phone number is one that people remember all the time, and they use it. So at many stores, you're going to find a lot of accounts tied to it. Yes, 867-5309. Yes, isn't that something? See, it's this sort of intel that you need to know, and you really can't find anywhere else to make sure that you're tech ahead and never left tech behind, because after all, that's my job. This is what I do. I'm Kim Commando, America's digital goddess. You just tapped into the best show, the biggest show, the award-winning show about all things digital, and you can find me on over 420 top stations across the United States. I'm streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, and you can now get the Kim Commando Show as a podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for, again, my last name. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio, serving the men and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force. And, great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always have these great deals that I negotiate for you. And to check them all out, go to one spot, commando.com/sponsors. That's commando.com/sponsors. All right. Every single day, rain or shine, weekday, weekend, national holiday or not, I am making sure that I know exactly what's happening in the tech world so I can help you stay up to date. And so here are the top 5 things you need to know that are happening right now. And we're going to start with iOS 18. Yep. Did you get it? Yeah, I know. I've had it for, I don't know, I guess at least a month. I've been beta testing even longer than that. Now, some people are saying that it's the ultimate relation ender. How can an iOS end a relationship? Well, apparently it's now being called the operating system for cheaters. Some even joke it was designed by a cheater because there are these new features like App Lock and Hide. It lets you hide apps or conversations right on your home screen, making it easy for those sneaky types to just cover their tracks. If you have Tinder or Hinge on your phone, your partner, your spouse, just wouldn't know. Now, I think there are a lot of other better things that we can focus on with iOS 18. Like, for example, of course, you can send and receive text via satellite. There's tap to cash, which means you can send money to other iPhones without sharing personal details. And then coming soon is the AI, not artificial intelligence. Silly, that's Apple intelligence. But I don't understand this at all on how Apple, major corporation, obviously, that they release new phones and say, yeah, you see that button for the AI? It doesn't work, but it's going to work in October. It's going to work in October. Yeah, maybe they should just wait it until October. I don't know. But Apple coming in at number 2 is they actually got some big FDA approval this past week. The Apple Watch was approved as a sleep apnea detection device. So the watch will track subtle wrist movements during sleep that indicate interruptions in breathing. And after a few nights, you can check your Apple Health app for breathing disturbances. I mean, the Apple Watch is kind of becoming like a pseudo doctor in your pocket. Wow. Speaking of, here's one for the kids. What's a Scandinavian with sleep apnea called? What's a Scandinavian with sleep apnea called? Anyone? A Norwegian. All right. Speaking of kids, coming in at number 3, it's pretty evident social media is harming our kiddos. There should be no surprise there. The rise of teen eating disorders, anxiety, violence. Social media has been feeding teens this toxic trash for over 10 years. And Meta has done little to really fix the problem and to stop it. I mean, we also have the pedophiles. But suddenly Meta says, oh, we have these brand new teen accounts. For teens between 13 and 17, Instagram will now automatically set accounts to private, so only approved followers can see the posts. They're also tightening controls on who can message or tag the kids. Only people that they follow can access their DMs. Instagram is also using AI to prevent users from lying about their age to bypass the rules, whatever that means. Okay. And parents, you have some more controls too. You can set screen time limits, check who their teens are messaging, but you can't see the messages, and you can activate sleep mode. It blocks all notifications from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So why all of a sudden is Meta concerned about our kids? You are so smart. You are so smart because everybody in Washington is saying, Zuck, you're not doing enough to protect our kids. You're just concerned about the bucks. Let's head over to Massachusetts for number 4. Audrey Cataldo was 16 years old, and she was having movie night with friends when the unthinkable happened. Her phone, connected to a portable magnetic charger, suddenly burst into flames. Her arm was engulfed in flames, her clothes were catching fire, and then a loud explosion echoed as the phone's battery blew up, filling the room with thick black smoke. The team scrambled to escape. The fire started in the middle of the bedroom on the mattress where they were sitting. And by the time the firefighters arrived, the pillows had melted in the heat. Gal got a burn on her arm, but obviously it could have been a lot worse. Imagine if they were asleep. So how come the phone blew up? What happened? Okay. She bought a cheap aftermarket charger on Amazon.com. Okay. This is why I always say you don't want to do this. I know you want to save a buck. This is not a place to save money on cheap chargers. You want certified chargers that go through strict safety testing. And you don't want to buy any uncertified or counterfeit chargers because they just don't mean the same standards. And finally, it's coming at number 5. I thought this was super interesting. You know, pro and college athletes around the country are getting Venmo requests. Why? Okay. From frustrated bettors who are losing money on the games. Auburn quarterback Peyton Thorne knows this firsthand after losing to California. He mentioned on a podcast that fans were flooding his social media and even Venmo asking for their money back. Okay. And then he said, nobody sends me money when we win, though. Okay. They just want the money back when we lose. Yeah, I know. He had a rough game throwing for 165 yards and a touchdown, but also 4 interceptions. Okay. But it's not just him. The NCAA says 1 in 3 top athletes get abusive messages from bettors. And so they want to start thinking about stopping the bets on college players and maybe just limiting bets to just the final scores. But I'm betting that ain't going to happen. There's just too much money involved. All right, coming up, we have a tip on how you can see your competitor's website traffic. We're going to talk a little bit about how the government is spying on you. And then at the end, we're going to be talking to a gentleman. It's a sad story, but I need you guys and gals to really hear this because it could actually save somebody's life in your family. And of course, you have me, Kim Komando. Hey, there's still time for you to enter to win a brand new iPhone 16. You want to go to this address, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. And that's where you can enter to win a brand new iPhone 16. By the way, no purchase required. Go to winfromkim.com. How about we start with Ann in West Palm Beach, Florida. Hi there, Ann.
Hi, Kim. It's great to speak to you.
Well,
I've been a
thank you.
longtime listener and follower of yours. And I kind of thought of you, honestly, randomly, having gotten involved in a Facebook scam. And I know you've talked about scams so many times, and I can't believe I'm a senior citizen, but I got sucked in. So
What happened?
Well, I decided that we had a Maltipoo puppy that had passed away last year, and it was very attached to my mom, and she lives in the cottage next door. She's 98. And I've got my whole family here. We call it the Money Pit Ranch compound. But anyway, so I was trying to find a replacement, and I couldn't find anyone local. I went to every, humane society. I tried and tried and tried. And finally I said, you know what? This thing popped up on Facebook about Maltipoo puppies for adoption and rehoming near me. Mm-hmm. So there's more than one. There are a number of them, as a matter of fact. And I happened to pick the wrong one. Okay. So bottom line, I thought $800 was not a bad price. And I thought $150 to get the puppy here was not a bad price. So I decided, she sent me videos of puppies. I said, well, this would be the perfect one. I sold her the money, but it started and then the transport company, which she called her nanny agency, reached out to me. And all of a sudden, they started adding on, well, we need a refundable deposit for an air-conditioned crate. We need a refundable deposit for a permit. We need a refundable. It kept going on and on and on. And, bottom line, I wound up out a lot of money.
How much?
Originally it was $4,000, but one of the $500 didn't go through, so the bottom line was $3,500. Okay. Luckily, my bank, who is Charles Schwab, I don't know if they caught on or whatever, but after I had Zelled out some, like 3 or 4 times, they kind of put kibosh on it for me, so I couldn't use Zelle. Right. And then it was PayPal, but my Chase Visa is connected to that. So I've contacted, obviously, the bank. They're working on trying to get working with Zelle to see if they could get any money back. My credit card refunded me temporarily to see if any of that's coming back, as well as PayPal. I guess my bottom line question to you is I've reached out to, the FBI, the sheriff's office, every possible entity, the National Frauds for Senior program, So I've sent my story out to everyone I could think of. But I was wondering if there's any way to actually try, and even Facebook, which I never got a response from, but now her site has changed. It's just a multi-poo site. Okay. But she's got over like 6,000 members to this. And I know I'm not the only one in this situation.
Well, what you can do at this point is you can write up your entire story, just like you told me.
Okay.
Write it all up. Put screenshots of anything that you have.
I have everything.
Here's the video that the person sent me.
Right.
And the reason why is that, number one, you're going to put this on your Facebook page. You're going to link to it.
Okay.
And I'd like it to be on the internet. I want you to buy a website and just slap up a one page about your experience.
Okay.
And you can do that relatively inexpensively by going to like Wix or Squarespace or Weebly or something like that.
Okay.
And here's the reason why. Is that when somebody might want to find another multi-poo and they go on Facebook to do this, what a lot of folks do is they'll do a review. They'll type in the words review and multi-poo and then whatever this person's name is.
Okay.
And to see what pops up. The whole idea is that if they see your story, they're not going to be taken as well. And you're going to be putting the word out there that this is what happened to me and I haven't been able to get it back, my money back. And not just that, it's also the emotional energy and the time and the waste of resources that you have expended at this point. I mean, how many hours do you think you got into this?
Probably 36, 48. I don't know. It's been eating at me because it's been going on since the day before Thanksgiving, and every single day. And but the thing is, she's still messaging me. I Zillowed her address. It's like a shack in Tifton, Georgia. Nobody could possibly be living in that house. I think everything about it is a scam.
It's all bogus. It's all bogus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got taken advantage of.
I did.
Did you ever have a FaceTime call with her?
I tried. She will not. She doesn't pick up.
Okay, see, that's always a red flag. If you can't actually see them with the dog, and that doesn't mean you're actually going to get the dog. There's the puppy scams are all over Facebook. They could sell the dog to somebody else. Or sell to 3 or 4 people at one time, and nobody ever gets the dog because now they're going to move on with a different Facebook ID, and they're going to do it again.
Right.
And so I would encourage you to write it all up. It's not going to be defamation because you're going to be talking about the facts, right?
Okay. Sure.
And keep all the facts there and keep the documentation on it, just as if you would want to see this. As if what you should have done is done some research on her name, and maybe in review, and do that now. Just Google search some different terms. See, you may find out that somebody else was taken too. And maybe there's a way that you guys can get together to create a force. Maybe there's even a third person. Now, I will tell you that when it comes time to add a contact form to the page that you put up, make sure that it's not just an email address that you're putting on a web page. Make sure you use an actual contact form so that this way you get the information in the form, put a CAPTCHA onto it as well. And be careful because scammers are going to fill out that form too. So if you have any questions about anything after this, you just want to run something by me, and I'm always here for you. You can count on that. All right. You ever wonder how your competitor's website is really doing, especially now with a lot of traffic going down because of Google and AI and Google not sending a lot of visitors to your website anymore? What you want to do is go to a place called Similar Web. And what you do is you just plug in your competitor's URL, and it breaks down the competitor's incoming traffic by source. So you can get an idea of who's visiting their site, and you can also take a look at keyword analysis as well. So is the data 100% correct? Not 100%, but it's a good idea for you to check it out anyway. It's at similarweb.com. All right, still to come, I have an interesting story about how the government is spying on us. It's kind of a... Wait. All right, coming up, I have a really interesting story about how the government is spying on us, and you can't afford to miss that. All right, still to come, we're going to speak to a dad about his son. And I will tell you, this is a really hard conversation to hear. So I'm prepping you right now. And it's something that I hesitated. And I went back and forth. I mean, is this something that I really want to put on the show? But it's so very important. It really is. And I believe that this interview, we're going to save some lives. Some people are going to be listening to this and they're going to say, you know what, I need to pay attention. That's all I'm going to say because it's coming up in just a few minutes. But I will tell you, it's a difficult conversation, and it does deal with suicide. It does. But it's about what's on the internet and what our kids are running up against. So you don't want to miss that. All right. Before we go back to all of your phone calls, let's talk about AI voice scams, because there are tools out there that can clone your child's voice and make it sound like they're the ones actually on the phone. Because kids nowadays, of course, they're all over social media, TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, which it really makes it easy for scammers to create a cloned voice that sounds precisely like your child's voice. Then they use this fake voice to extort money from you in these voice cloning scams. So what can you do to protect yourself? First off, pay close attention to the phone number. If you don't recognize it, try calling your child on their phone, or get a hold of somebody who may be with your child, or use your computer to text your kid. Now, if they claim to be in an accident or kidnapped, I want you to be cautious, very, very cautious. And I don't want you to go ahead and say, let me send you some money, or let me go get you some Bitcoin. That's a total tip-off. I don't want you to send any money. Now, what you can do is keep them on the line for as long as you can, using some basic stall tactics. And then you can also, don't forget, if you don't have another phone, if you can text on, say, your laptop or your tablet, you can actually text 911 and tell them exactly what's going on. So just be on the lookout for those type of scams. Let's see, Betty in Conrad, Montana. Hi there, Betty.
Hi, good morning. It's such a thrill to talk to you.
Thank you, Betty. What's going on?
My question today is, I love to play the piano, and I'm always up for a challenge. But I want to know, is there an app that would create sheet music from an audio, like the audio piano in a song?
Yeah, I've never really used them, and I'm good at a lot of things, Betty, but I can't play the piano. I have tried. I have a piano in my living room. I'm always so appreciative talking to people who can play the piano. I don't know what it is. My brain just does not work. Well, let me tell you what happened, Betty. Here's what happened. When I was a kid, everybody, and there were 4 kids, all of us had to take piano lessons.
We did.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. And so the piano teacher was this wonderful woman, like a block away. So I would go to the piano teacher, and I come home, and I would have to practice. And my mother and father would give me like $20 a week to pay the piano teacher. Okay.
Oh, sure.
So I would go to. Then I figured out, you know what? I don't really have to go to piano lessons, and I can make $20.
Sure.
Okay. So I leave the house. They think I'm going to piano, and I come back and I'm still doing the same song after like 6 months.
Oh,
Okay. And then my father looks at me and goes, I don't think you're that good at piano because I don't think this is good for you. This is not gonna,
yeah.
maybe you ought to take up like horseback riding or field hockey because this is
sure.
just not. And then like years went by and I fessed up. I'm like, remember like 6 months worth of piano lessons? So anyway, there's a couple of tools you can use. One's called Anthem Score.
Okay.
It actually uses AI. Again, I don't know how good it works. I'm just
okay.
But
yeah.
but this is what I've heard is it might be something for you to look at. And another one is called Melodyne. That's Melodyne, Melodyne. And so, but if then none of that works, is that you may be able to hire somebody like on Fiverr. Have you ever used Fiverr?
No, but that's interesting. Yeah.
It's Fivrr, Fiverr. And the whole idea is the way it started was like everything would be like $5. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not $5. Okay.
No.
But you can put things out there. Like when we wanted to get our newest ebook done, we actually hired somebody on Fiverr to do it.
Nice. Yeah.
And so there, if you need a logo or something, you can find somebody on Fiverr. So what I'm thinking is like if there's a song that you really like and you're like, wow, you know what, it would be wonderful to have sheet music to this.
Yeah, there is actually.
That you could probably find somebody at Fiverr or Upwork that could. You basically it's like you put a job out there, and then people bid on the job, and then you can actually see their ratings, and you can say, oh, this person's good at this. This one's only got a 3-star rating. This one's got a 5-star rating. This guy or gal delivers on time. This one doesn't really. And so, but that may be something for you to take a look at. So Fiverr, Upwork, or you can try this Melodyne or Anthem Score. And Betty, do me a favor. Give me a call back. Let me know which one worked out the best for you. In my free newsletter, I recently shared a tip about opting out of the TSA's new facial recognition at airports. And a lot of you said like, wow, I didn't know you could do that. Now you can do that, but your face isn't the only thing that the government's collecting about you. They use facial recognition in places like grocery stores, banks, and even concerts. Your social media photos are added to a massive facial recognition database that's paired with CCTV cameras tracking your location, who you're with, what you're doing with scary precision. They're also keeping tabs on who you talk to and what you're saying. You see, after 9/11, Congress allowed the NSA to monitor foreign communications without a warrant, but they can also use this to spy on Americans. They tap into fiber optic cables. They grab data from companies like Google. And what about your social media? Yeah. Doesn't matter if your account is private, the government can still get access. They're also tracking what you're buying and browsing. And so you might be saying like, well, what do I do? Okay. What you want to do on your phone, you go into settings, security, encryption, and on your iPhone, Face ID, and then make sure that your data protection is enabled. But just know that we are being tracked like nobody's business. All right. We'll come right back. We're going to be talking about suicide, and a dad's going to tell us what happened to his son. And it's a hard conversation to hear, but it's a really, really important one. We're going to do something a little bit different here. If you're struggling, I want you to reach out to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. Once again, that's 988. And you're never alone. Brett Aldridge's 23-year-old son, Riley, died by suicide earlier this year. And Brett was on the kid's phone searching for happy memories and pictures and voicemails. And what he found were screenshots of a website where people encourage others to end their lives with detailed instructions how to do it. Now, Brett believes that if Riley hadn't seen this website, he would still be alive today. And he's on a mission to raise awareness and help other parents and grandparents to protect their kids. So tell me about your son, Riley.
My son, Riley, was just a great kid, just a normal kid. I mean, loved sports. We like to joke with him and call him fair weather fan just because whatever team was winning, it was his favorite, right? So, Tom Brady, LeBron James, oh, now I love this team. Now I love that team. I mean, right? Just a sports junkie. He was enrolled in Oklahoma State, then ended up transferring to University of Arizona, where he was taking classes online, and he's a fun, good kid, had a good sense of humor, a real dry sense of humor. We used to play pranks on each other, and I miss the heck out of him.
So what do you think happened that sparked him to seek out information about committing suicide?
So it's hard to connect the dots, but kind of what I think is probably the culmination of a perfect storm, and someone that young who hasn't experienced a full life, going through significant emotional events such as maybe not doing well in school, break up with a girlfriend, those things that are traumatic then, but when you're my age, that's
it's another day.
Every day, right? Yeah, right.
Another
Another day in the office. And so back then, you think the world was over, right? Like, oh my gosh, my girlfriend just dumped me. Oh my gosh, I just lost my job. Oh my gosh, I didn't do well on this test. Yeah, I failed this test, or whatever the case may be.
Do you think the pandemic, being not socialized for a while, had an impact on that?
Thank you for bringing that up. So there was absolutely an incredible change in his persona when the pandemic. He used to be very lively, very outgoing, just very happy-go-lucky. And when the pandemic hit is when I noticed the isolation. He would just kind of hole up in his bedroom, shades drawn, so his room was very dark, played video games a lot, would watch TV, would never come out, couldn't go to classes because, most universities were, just take your classes online and whatever. And I noticed this pattern, and he was living with me at the time, and I used to encourage him, get out of your room, go get some sunlight, go walk, let's go play basketball. Let's go do something, invite friends over, go see your friends. Right. And I don't even have the words really. I just you probably didn't expect to find that on Riley's devices, right? So I'll never forget. This was probably 2 weeks or so, maybe a week or so. About 2 weeks after he was gone, and about a week or so after his service, and I had his phone in my possession, and I said, "Okay, I'm strong. I can do this. I'm going to go through his phone." Not to look for anything suspicious or, spy on him. It was, I wanted to see pictures of him smiling, goofing around with his buddies, silly videos of, them doing stupid college kid stuff, whatever they do, right? And happy times, right? I was hoping to find pictures of him and I, and maybe pictures of him when he was little, whatever the case may be. And because it was the last thing he had taken screenshots of, the first thing I saw was the last thing he saw.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And I actually, as strange as this may sound, I thought my mind was playing tricks on me. I thought it was an illusion, right? I just thought, what am I looking at? That's not there.
Well, it's unbelievable. Then, I mean, it's like, what am I? Yeah. What is this?
Correct. And the more I stared, I still couldn't believe it, Kim. And because the first, I won't get into it, but the first what I was looking at was exactly the manner in which my son had died, which is why I thought my mind was playing tricks on me.
Oh.
And so I quickly scrolled, and I saw another image for another manner in which, and I scrolled again, and all I just kept seeing was these images, and I thought, what am I looking at? And then I looked up at the top, and I saw the URL, and I vomited because my reaction was, I quickly connected the dots, and I thought, my son learned how to take his own life from the internet.
Okay, wow, that's hard. Brett, I have to take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about what you saw in all these screenshots in detail, and exactly what you're doing to warn other parents and how this has obviously become your mission. Hey, if you're just tuning in, I have to warn you that we are talking about suicide and kids and what's available on the internet. And if you're struggling, I want you to reach out right now to the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. And always remember, you're not alone. They're there for you at 988. And if you're just tuning in, Brett lost his 23-year-old son, Riley, to suicide. And while looking for memories on Riley's phone, Brett discovered screenshots of a pro-suicide website. Yeah, I know. It's unimaginable to me, too, that these websites even exist. And it details how to end a life step by step. And people encourage you to do it. So, Brett, let's pick up where we left off.
I'm not delusional or naive to think that my son may or may not have done this, regardless of the website or not.
For sure, I understand.
But I will say, but I know my son. I know my son. He was very risk averse, always wearing his seatbelt. Well, why do you wear your seatbelt? It's to protect yourself from dying in a car crash or getting injured, right? My son wouldn't dive into a swimming pool. He was kind of afraid, like, well, what if I break my neck? If I hit the bottom of the pool and break my neck? I mean, right? So if he wasn't going to do those things, he wouldn't risk taking his life unless he knew it was going to be successful, because a failure of that success would mean you could have a permanent injury, right?
Correct.
Like, the only reason he went through was he knew this is going to work. And that's what is so upsetting. And so, again, my son was in a dark place, and I'm not naive to ignore that.
Well, you're honest, Brett. I mean, you are.
Yeah. But to find the recipe to do it, and to find people saying, "Yeah, go do this, bro. We'll see you on the other side," and to say things like, "Yeah, blame your parents. You didn't have a choice to be here. Your parents put you here. They're at fault. Get revenge at them. Do this." I mean, right? Just disgusting, abhorrent things, and it just. But thanks to the USA Today and Charlie Trapani for doing the article, and thanks to you for. I've heard from people all over the world who read the article, and there are many, many, many other people like this, unfortunately. And I wish this wasn't the case.
I think I read that the New York Times say that this website gets 6 million page views a month.
Isn't that awful?
It's horrible.
So what I'm doing now, and this is the first time I'm going to publicly say this, I spent 25 years in politics as my professional background, serving as an aide to a governor, a congressman, mayor and city council, been a lobbyist, but I am calling on elected officials to somehow ban this, outlaw this. I don't know how that can be done. I know First Amendment rights are going to be a big call on this.
Right. It will be. You're right. It will be.
But somehow, some way, to prey on the emotionally vulnerable in a state like this, and to advocate for pro-suicide, we've got to have common sense that, I mean, your First Amendment right ends where my grief begins.
And you'll grieve your whole life, Brett.
That's right.
You will.
That's right.
I mean, this is, I always go back to the Psalm. You walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Okay. It doesn't say you can walk around it. It doesn't say you can jump over it. You have to walk through it. And when you walk through it, you'll get to the other side. But Riley is always top of mind.
Yeah.
And I will pray for you. And I'll pray for your son, and I'll pray for your family. And I'm going to pray for your mission, because I believe in it, that we have to, as a society, there are so many with moral issues here, pain, suffering, anguish, that getting back to you, Brett, is that if I can help you, just know that I will. Again, I just want to reiterate that if you're struggling, just go ahead, call or text 988. You're never, ever alone.
Thank you for listening to the Kim Commando Show. Here's hour 3.
Okay, I always like to start with something interesting. And when you're working from home, are you really working? Well, according to a new survey, a lot of folks are multitasking, I guess you'd say. Listen to this. 1 in 5 remote workers take a nap during the day while they're working. Yeah, I'm just going to take a nap. I'll be right back. Maybe a couple hours in the afternoon, whatever it may be. 1/3 take calls while they're going to the bathroom. Don't mind that flushing sound. It's my phone. It's my new ringer. Almost 20% watch TV or play video games during the day. So if you wonder why companies are saying, hey, we got to get back to work, these are some of the reasons why. I have to tell you, I don't really like working from home. I'd much rather come to the studios and surround myself with the company. Oh, yes. On that happy note, welcome. I'm Kim Commando, America's digital goddess, here with you once again. It's the biggest show, the most trusted show about all things digital. And let me tell you, you need this show. Never in the history of tech has it been this important to know exactly what's going on in the tech world. You have to be tech ahead or you'll be left tech behind in the digital dust. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, a huge welcome to you and to our returning listeners. You guys and gals look marvelous. And you can find my award-winning show in over 420 top stations across the United States. And we're streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Commando. And you can also find the Kim Commando Show now as a podcast. Wherever you get your podcast, just search for Commando with a K. And great sponsors are always there for us to give you these best deals. And to check out all the deals, go to commando.com/sponsors. That's commando.com/sponsors. All right, you can count on me to check at least 35 or 40 different websites every single day to make sure that we both know what's happening in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know. And we're going to start by talking about TikTok. Now, TikTok is in Washington saying, oh, you're not being nice to us. We are being unfairly singled out because what about Temu? They're from communist China too, and they track massive amounts of user data. Yeah, TikTok is used by over 2/3 of Americans. It keeps tabs on everything that your phone does. By American teens, I should say. But 170 million Americans use TikTok every single day. So TikTok's lawyers say a ban would set a dangerous precedent and it violates their free speech. ByteDance, of course, the parent company is Chinese-owned. That means they are obviously influenced by the communist Chinese government, which could lead to spreading propaganda and accessing private data, okay, which we all know. I just thought that was funny. Temu. Oh, but if you're going after them, I mean, what's not fair to us? Whatever. All right, moving on to number 2, Snapchat. If you ever used it, it has some wild filters. Like you could be a puppy, you could be a slice of pizza, you could be a farm animal, whatever it is. Well, the reason why I bring this up, they have a new feature called My AI Selfie. It lets you and your friends turn your photos into AI-generated versions of yourself. But if you use it, here's something that you need to know. Your face could end up in an advertisement. According to 404 Media, when you use this feature, Snapchat makes you agree to terms that allow them to use you or your likeness in personalized ads. Now, these ads are just for you to see, but they could feature branding and promotions from Snap or partners, and no, you are not going to make any money off of this. Now, the bad news is it's turned on by default when you accept Snap's terms. The good news, you can turn it off. Okay, to see if it's on, you go to your profile pic, and the top left-hand corner of Snapchat, tap the settings cog in the top right, and then My AI Selfie, and then flip that switch to turn it off. But I know so many of you are sitting there saying, but Kim, why would I want to do that? I look better as a puppy. I do. Moving on to number 3, sextortion email that you are receiving now looks more realistic and frightening than ever. The word sextortion, let me tell you, it's been around for such a long time. You might remember the Polaroid cameras. But when many computers started to be kept in bedrooms, hackers would send emails claiming to turn on the computer's camera and then catch you undressing or doing something else. Well, this past week, a team member here at the Kim Commando Studios received an email saying pretty much the same thing. The scammer activated our associate's webcam and recorded him watching porn. Now, of course, $2,000 worth of Bitcoins would make it go all away. Now, the hacker included a photo of one of the driveways to our studios. Okay, let me tell you something. It's not hard to trace the real address of an IP number. It's not hard to get an address where somebody actually works either, because it's all, on the internet and Google Maps. So what the hacker did not have is the photo of our associate. They never do, because this is never real. I don't want you to fall for it. But, always be careful what you watch online. Moving on to number 4, I read about this in the Wall Street Journal. I thought this was really fascinating. Do you remember when you had a BlackBerry and you were like, oh, look at me, I got a BlackBerry and I am superior to you with that Motorola Razr? But the new power move among CEOs is that they're getting so-called dumb phones. These are phones that only call and text. That's it. You can make a phone call and you can send a text. You don't have any apps. You got no social media. You can't browse the web. You can't check your email, whatever it is. Brands like Punked and Light Phone, they're the rage. One exec told the Wall Street Journal, it's a bit disruptive because everyone else is glued to their phones and I'm choosing to communicate differently. That's right. You're just too cool for email. Junior employees are running around trying to track down the CEOs, and the CEOs say that, without a smartphone, it makes me a better leader. We're less distracted. I'm more present. It's a way of saying, I'm not reachable, and you should go to my assistant first. Wow. Isn't that something? That is a power move, I think. All right. Finally, this coming at number 5. Apparently, forgetting your kids in the backseat is a thing, and parenting is hard. But I never thought we'd need a car that is going to call grandma. In the 2025 Toyota Sienna, if you forget your child in the back seat, Toyota's radar-based rear seat reminder system will start flashing lights like, hello, kids in the back seat. If you ignore the flashing lights, it's going to start texting your phone. Now, if you're still not paying attention, Toyota will actually call you. Take a listen.
This is Toyota calling to make you aware that motion has been detected inside your 2025 Red Sienna Hybrid. Please check your vehicle immediately.
It uses a 60 gigahertz radar sensor in the car's headliner to detect movement in the second and third rows. And if it detects something, it's going to start kicking off a series of escalating alerts. You know, this is really something. I mean, seriously. I mean, if it saves just one life, it has done its job and also the parent's job. All right, coming up, we're talking about how you can use AI to get meeting notes and how you can say no to data tracking and ads. Oh, there's a new money-making scam I need to warn you about. And we have all the best calls in the history of talk radio and podcasting here on the Kim Komando Show. Hey, there's still time for you to enter to win the brand new iPhone 16, but you have to go to this address, winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. No purchase required. Just go ahead and enter to win. It could be your lucky day. winfromkim.com. Let's see. Kelly in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Glad to have you with us.
Hello, Kim. Thank you for taking my call.
My pleasure. What's going on?
So I'm an optician in a practice that sees a lot of his kids with special needs. And the thought is if they could see better, then they may not be as scared of their world.
For sure. What a wonderful thing you're doing. That's fabulous.
Thank you. But by the time I see the kids, they are at their end. They're scared, they're tired, they're frustrated. They could be screaming, running around, hiding under a desk, whatever. So when we go to take the measurements for glasses, they're not having any part of that. But if we don't do the measurements accurately, then it doesn't matter how good the prescription is, the glasses are not going to help. So I would like to put together an app that they can watch, like they watch other things on their devices. And when their eyes hit a point, it reads their pupillary distance.
Oh, you know what? It's kind of like, I go to UCLA. Probably, It seems like once every 3 months, because I had a corneal transplant.
Wow.
And my vision in my right eye was 2400, and now it's 2125.
Hey.
I know, and with a corrective lens, it's 2020.
Okay.
I mean, phenomenal. But one of the eye tests that they gave me was, and I don't know if you guys are using this either, but at UCLA, like I look and like there's a farmhouse. And there's like a cow and like, I don't know, something else, a wheelbarrow and this vision. And then that's how it starts to figure out what prescription that I need. Is that kind of what you're thinking? But they would be watching a cartoon or something.
Correct.
All right. This isn't an over-the-counter type of solution, as you know. I mean, there are websites where you can say, I want to have an app, and they'll give you a basic app. And most of these are not very sophisticated as the one that you're trying to develop. but there are resources to help you. And there are some apps that you might just want to try.
Okay.
Have you ever tried iMeasure?
No.
Okay. So iMeasure is for iOS. And then on Android, there's something called pupil distance. And I don't think this may give you a little bit of a start, but but if anything, I want you to see what's out there already, because this is not going to do what you're asking it to do. But what you might find is that you can contact the developers of this app and say, is there any accessibility? Are there any modifications that you can make that can accommodate my special needs patients?
Okay.
Okay. So again, that's iMeasure, and it's called pupil distance for frame selection. That's the other one. Now, if you wanted to go like really geeky on this, Kelly, and I mean, if you're like, okay, I know I can do this and I can really help so many kids, because there you are. Okay. But there are children all over the world that could also benefit from this and from this technology. Right. You know, and my sister has a school in Southern California where she only has special needs students, and it's one child per teacher. And so when you were talking about the kids running around under the desk and all that other stuff, I mean, I've been to her school. I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing, you know, and it's hard. I mean, my sister, I call her, she's a saint. I tell her this all the time. You are like Saint Christine to me. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I just don't know how she does it. But anyway, there's something called software development kits. That's SDKs. And the SDKs are what companies put out there. Like they have a product and they say, we want you to use our product. And so we're going to give you the software development kit around it so that you can develop your own product using our technology. Make sense?
Cool.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So here's where a couple of things might be interested, is that there's a company called Tobii, Tobii. Now, they make eye tracking technology that may help you, and then they put out a software development kit. And then there's another one called Gaze Cloud. That's Gaze Cloud. And so maybe what you could do is you could enlist because you're an optician. Okay, you got your own thing going on. You know what I mean? You got your own life, your own business, and stuff like that. And this is going to require like a full-time effort. So maybe what I would do is I'd go to the local computer engineering department.
Okay.
And say, this is what I got. I looked at these apps, and these apps do this, what I need. There's this eye tracking technology from Tobii or Gaze Cloud that does this, but it doesn't do exactly what I need. So how can we work together so that this way this becomes a project for the university, and we can somehow figure out how we can, I don't know, put it all together.
Okay.
I mean, because there are so many wonderful things that you can do with this. And and you kind of touch a couple of buttons with me because you touch the special needs kids, and then and they must be so frustrated because they can't really vocalize what they see and what they can't see.
Right.
You and I can go, I don't see the farmhouse, right?
Right. And they usually start about 2 or 3 years old, so they don't understand what you're saying or asking anyway.
Right. So, why don't you do do a little homework on this? Okay. But I want to figure out how I can help you. And I don't know what that means, because I don't, this is, like, there are things that I'm good at, and I'm good at putting projects together. I'm good at making money. I'm good at building a business. That's what I'm good at.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. But when it comes to knowing exactly, believe it or not, even though I have like a large optic nerve and I've got all this stuff going on in my eyeballs, okay, it's still, I still look at it, I'm like, oh, I don't even know how all that works. I don't, because, and it's a miracle, really, how your body processes sight. It's just astounding to me. But
yes,
but exactly what it is that you need to have so that these kiddos can get good vision. And so go off and do some research and look at those apps and then let's chat again. Let's figure out, what it is and how we could take this to market. And, I'm not saying that I want to own your business. I want to help you help other people. That's what I really want to do. I think that makes sense. All right, let's switch gears. Phishing scams are the most reported cybercrime in the United States. That's why I use Total AV, award-winning antivirus protection. Go to protectwithkim.com for just $19 for the first year protection. That's protectwithkim.com. Protectwithkim.com. All right, when you're in a video call, you're like, I got to take notes. Well, maybe not so much anymore. Otter AI is this really great tool that's designed to work specifically with Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google with a Chrome extension. For about $7 a month, it's going to transcribe, summarize, and organize a meeting's content. But if you're using Microsoft Teams, you don't need that. Just toggle on live transcription. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as a huge warning about a brand new making money scam that's spreading across the country here on The Kim Komando Show. Hey, coming up in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about how you can say no to all the tracking ads. And then later on, yeah, I know, it's so annoying. It seems like every other day there's a new scam that's like spreading like wildfire throughout the country. This one involves your money, so you're going to definitely want to pay attention to this. All right, joining us right now on the big show is, of course, our amazing content queen, Ali Seligman. Hello there, Al.
Hi, Kim.
One of the things that I think you know this about me is that I'm not really into watching, well, I did watch Dexter, but I really like to watch like true stories.
Yeah, you're not much of a fiction kind of gal, which is funny because whenever we talk about this stuff, my favorite thing are like fantasy and sci-fi books. So we have different tastes for sure.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And so when you start looking at like, so what can you watch? Okay. Yeah. So I always deflect to like searching like, the best true stories out there. Yeah. So since we talk tech, of course, tell me if you've seen this one, like The Social Network.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody's seen that one. Yeah. Okay. Steve Jobs.
No, I never watched that.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
You should do that.
Should I? Okay.
Yes. It goes through how he got started, and you start seeing like some of his quirkiness, and then you start seeing like, this guy was truly a genius.
Yeah.
Okay. The Pirates of Silicon Valley.
Nope.
I don't think I saw this one either. It's from 1999. It says it's details the early days of like Apple and Microsoft with Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, coming head to head and not really being happy with each other. Okay, this one I did love. WeWork, the make and break of a $47 billion unicorn.
I did not watch it. That's going to be the common theme here. I did not watch it, but I remember you talking about how much you liked that one.
Well, I liked it because how do you lose $47 billion?
Somebody can do it.
I mean, how does that happen? Okay, and this is Adam Newman who did this. So he was going to have like these little work pods and places you can go. So he blew through $47 billion, and he's a weirdo.
Doesn't that just like give you a tummy ache thinking about that much money? Just poof.
But he just think about this. So the guy would walk around Manhattan barefoot.
Ew.
Gross. Okay. And he's, eccentric. You see, when somebody has money, you say they're eccentric. But when they don't have money, you say they're nuts. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but he blew through $47 billion. And you know what? He's raising billions again.
I know. And you'd think that all the people handing him money might have a moment of like, oh, are we sure this time? But there we go.
And then so you probably didn't see this one then either. The Dropout.
No, I didn't see
about
that.
Elizabeth Holmes.
No. Okay. How is that one?
The whole Theranos scandal.
That thing's crazy. I've certainly read a lot about that, and it is an absolutely wild story.
I don't know how you can look at yourself in the mirror knowing that people are taking health advice based on your product.
Yeah.
And your product is totally bogus.
I guess the only answer that I've got for you, Kim, is money.
Yeah, that's money. That's money.
Yeah. And, I think a lot of like the through lines of these stories, especially the ones that are like some crazy story of some eccentric person who, maybe it's how they made their money. Maybe it's how they built this huge business. There are always these huge stories, right? Really big tech companies. We want to know who is Steve Jobs really? But I saw a preview for a new Netflix movie that's coming out next month in October. It's called The Remarkable Life of Ibelin. Ibelin. Okay, what the heck is that? I thought it was a town maybe at first. And I kid you not, you know me, I'm a crier. I cried during the preview. I cried reading about it. Yes, and I'm actually excited to see this. And I say that as not a documentary person, but I'm going to watch this one for sure. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story. We're going to go back to Oslo, Norway, and I want you to picture this little blonde boy, big smile, blonde hair. His name was Mats. And pretty early on in his life, his parents knew that there was something going on with him. And, it was kind of a weird mix of things. He loved going down the slide, but he would never walk up the stairs to the slide. They couldn't get him to do it. He didn't like to chase the other kids. He would just sit that out. He would do, when somebody who has trouble, usually someone older, when you put your knees on your hands to sit up or to stand up, the little boy was doing that. And so they knew something was strange. They took him to the doctor. Yeah. And it turns out he was born with something called Duchenne muscular dystrophy, which is a really awful muscular disease. It mostly impacts boys, and most of them don't live past 20. So little Mats, things got worse the older he got. He ended up in a wheelchair when he was about 7, I think. And then his parents saw, okay, this kid is bored. There's not a lot he can do. He got his first Game Boy. Loved it. Okay. Then we fast forward. Mats is 11, and they give him the password to the family computer, and he becomes a gamer. So just like any other, kid, teenager, when you can't, where's Mats? He's on his computer, of course. It was always this back and forth with the family. Go to bed. No, he's up all night playing World of Warcraft.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sure, Kim, you know this game. If you've not heard of it before, World of Warcraft is absolutely enormous. I didn't realize it's 20 years old. It's one of the biggest multiplayer online games that's ever existed. So think about, you log on, you're not just playing by yourself. It's not like Mario. You are playing with all these other people around the world. And this movie is all about kind of the entire world and friendship and love that Mats had built for himself in this digital world. His parents had no idea.
I was just going to ask you that. Did the parents really know what was going on?
No, they didn't know about it until after he died. And you know how they found out? So they were having a gathering at their house the day before the funeral, and this random group of people show up. They knew all the family members. He didn't really have friends that were in town because he, didn't hang out with other kids. Sure. This random group of people showed up, and they said, hey, we're here for Mats. We're his friends. And so his family, they knew he played the game, but they didn't know this. They assumed it would be, he's just in his room shooting bad guys or doing whatever. No, these were his friends of like 10 years. And it's this, seriously, this made me cry. This beautiful story of connection, of someone who really was kind of trapped in his own body that didn't work the way he wanted it to, being able to just be free and have these relationships. So I'm really excited for it. It really looks like a good movie. I think it'll be a good one of those like heartwarming winter, get cozy, get yourself a drink. You know what I mean?
It just shows you that, like, we always talk about, it seems like, all the bad stuff.
I know.
That happens on the internet with AI and scammers and hackers and stalkers and thieves. And so it's nice to have like, oh, this is nice. This is good.
I know. It totally is. And it got me kind of thinking about, how, anytime we talk about the metaverse and going to live your life in the metaverse, it's like, okay, how lame. Who's going to want to do that?
But maybe you might want to. Maybe it's not that bad.
And maybe for some people, when the reality of your real life and your body and, whatever is happening with you health-wise, maybe it is a nice escape for people. And I think that's a pretty cool thing.
So what's the name of this again?
It is called The Remarkable Life of Ibelin. It won a bunch of stuff at Sundance, so good movie.
Okay, well, we'll have to check it out when it comes in October. Thanks for letting us know about it, Al.
Thanks, Kim.
That's pretty awesome. All right, so there's this organization called the DAA, the Digital Advertising Alliance, and they have a tool that lets you tell companies that follow you around online using your email address and phone number that says, stop this, I don't want you to do it. Now, the DAA is a legit organization, and so what you want to do, you can opt out for free at youradchoices.com. Once again, that's youradchoices.com. Yeah, I'm telling you, Where else are you going to get this valuable intel other than the Kim Komando Show? Stay right where you are. We have more of your phone calls coming up, as well as there's another scam making the rounds I need to warn you about here on the Kim Komando Show. All right, Tim in Naperville, Illinois. Glad to have you with us.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Great. How can I help you today, my man?
I have a question regarding some smishing text messages that I was getting on my Android Pixel 7 phone. They were the classic USPS, we have a package for you. Click here, give us all your information.
Of course.
And I'm a listener, so I'm not foolish enough to fall for that. But what was annoying to me was getting the notify every day, because I try to limit how many notifies I get on my phone.
Yeah, for sure.
The message would go to my spam folder. The number would be blocked, but every day I'd get a call from a different number in the same country code, which happened to be Thailand. I think it was country code 63. So what I wanted to do to put an end to this game of whack-a-mole that I was playing with all the different numbers was block the entire country code. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't figure out a way to do that on the Android Messages app.
Well, inside the Android Message map is that you can go into settings. And then there's spam protection. Then you can just follow the prompts to enable spam. I'm not sure if they let you block an entire country. For that, you may need, in order to get like a third-party app like Call Blocker or Hiya, Hiya. But I'm really surprised that this is coming in on the Pixel 7 because, boy, I'll tell you, they normally do a bang-up job.
They correctly identify them as spam, and they do go to my spam folder. But because it was a different number every day, I would get a notify every day. And it's just like I limit my notifies. I want, to be notified for legitimate things that I need to pay attention to. But in this case, I trust the Android Messages app. They put them in the spam folder. I don't even want to know about those.
I know. I know. I mean, you could also set up Do Not Disturb mode, and this way it only allows messages from your contacts.
Okay.
And in that way, it would prevent notifications from unknown numbers, so you wouldn't be so annoyed all the time. But yeah, I mean, you think like there would be a way for us to just like make this garbage stop already. I mean, I can't tell you how many political messages I'm getting every day, and it's so annoying.
I get those too.
They
are annoying.
It's like, so-and-so is this, so-and-so is this. I'm for this, I'm for that. I'm not for this. I'm like, oh, geez, Louise, But, I guess we are in election season, so there's really hopefully that'll go away after November. But again, in the Android app, they do a really good job. That's why I'm surprised. So again, go to messages, go to settings, then spam protection. Just follow the prompts. And if you can't block it by the country, then Hiya, Hiya, or take a look at Call Blocker. And Tim, thank you for your call today. Lila in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, welcome.
Well, I have a computer question. To start off, our family uses a Mac primarily, and we have a 16-year-old son that wants to be a pilot, and we found that the flight simulator packages that he's got don't work well on a Mac. So we bought a PC strictly for his piloting practice. Anyway, there's one program called Real Flight that he would like to connect to the internet, and I'm wondering, is there a way to connect just that program so that he's not out there on the web doing all kinds of stuff?
Yeah, you're smart for calling. You are, because it's like everything's just like one click away from disaster, isn't it? It's like,
right.
Let's just walk through this, and then I'm going to send you via email some additional information. Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to configure this machine to have two profiles.
Okay.
One is going to be the administrator, and one is going to be a standard user, because you're the mom. You pay the bills. Yep. Guess what? You get to be the administrator, right? Okay.
Right.
And your son is just a standard user. So what you have is something called, there's a firewall there. And so what you can do is you can allow and block certain content on the firewall. You can say that none of the browsers can be used. You can block apps from accessing the internet. You really have the ability to do just about anything any control just about anything there. Now, the steps on how to do this are pretty, you can do it. I'm going to send you all the steps, but it's like you go into the control panel, you go to system security, Windows Defender, advanced settings, and then you're going to block out conventions and outbound rules. You know, see where I'm going like with all this? It's kind of like, but I'll write all this up for you. And so you're only going to allow real flight, and that's going to be under the outbound rules. And so the only thing that he'll be able to do on there is just allow this real flight program to access the internet. I think that's fabulous. Has he always wanted to be a pilot?
Maybe for about 3 years. He's in Civil Air Patrol, and we're headed that direction. So
that's great. That's awesome. You know, and the flight simulators are just, I mean, it's really wonderful because this program, which I'm sure you read about, I mean, it gets real-time data.
Oh, right.
And,
yes.
So
awesome.
And so you're, you know, so if it's raining in Sioux Falls, it's raining on his computer, you know. And a friend of mine, she flies a jet. She's just, this woman is just amazing. I mean, she is a single pilot, flies her own jet. I'm like, you're just bad. You know what I mean? You're just like, you know what? You're just like Kick. I mean, she just does everything, you know? And so I was in California, and she lives down the street from me. And so I was sitting at my desk, and I felt something kick my chair, and I thought it was my 95-pound golden retriever. Mm-hmm. And I turned around, the dog's not there. And then it was the earthquake. And it was like a 5.1 earthquake. And it was about like, I don't know, like 50 miles from the house. So, and then my desk kind of like, I started swaying a little bit. And I thought because I just got back from a run, I didn't drink water. I'm like, oh my God, my blood pressure's so low. It's like, I'm like, no, it's an earthquake, you know? So it's like, and so anyway, so I texted my friend and I said, was that just me or did I feel the earthquake? And she texted me back. She goes, I was in my flight simulator. I thought I was going through turbulence. So anyway.
Oh my, funny.
So anyway, I'm going to put you on hold, Layla. Okay. I'm going to put you on hold, and then we're going to send you out all these steps. Now, if you need any help afterwards, I just want you to know that we're always here for you, and we can always lend a hand. But again, you're just going to work in some firewalls. We'll give you some links, and there's also some videos I think we can probably point you in a direction. But piece of cake. You got this. And thanks for your call. Hey, by the way, if you're just too shy to come on a big-time show, you can still drop me your questions. The easiest place to do it is head over to the website. That's komando.com, Komando, komando.com. And there's a link at the top that says Ask Kim. So somebody reaches out to you on Facebook, Instagram, Nextdoor, or wherever saying, invest just a small amount with us, say $500 or $200, and I'm going to show you how much money you can make in cryptocurrency. So you set up a crypto account, you get the password, and you watch your money grow every single day, and then you get a text. It's doing so good. Why don't you put more money in? And then you do. And then it goes up again, and then you put more money. Then you're like, I think I want to withdraw some of this money out. And so you go ahead and try to take the money out. Then you find out that the balance is zero. Okay, the account was never real. It was only a simulation. It was pure bullion. That's right. And let me tell you, millions of people have fallen for this scam, and I don't want you to be one of them. So if somebody reaches out to you and says they can help you make money at crypto, don't answer them. Okay, that's the bottom line. And if you want to win a brand new iPhone 16, there's only one place where you need to go. That's winfromkim.com.
Thanks for listening to the Kim Komando Show. Here's hour 4.
Okay, here's a fun one to start out with. How many cases of avocados does Chipotle use an entire year? So how many cases do you think? Just think about it for just a second. You ready? All right, here's the answer. 5.2 million cases of those nutrition-loaded green goodies. But who's cutting up all these avocados? Soon it's not going to be people. Chipotle is using a new robot called Autocado. It slices, it cores, it peels an avocado in 26 seconds. Wow, even adjusts for different sizes. That's super fast, 26 seconds. Talk about guac and roll. Oh, yes, and on that happy note, welcome. I'm Kim Komando, America's Digital Goddess, here with you once again, and you have just tapped into the best show, the biggest show, It's the most awesomest show in the history of talk radio about all things digital. And I need you to sit up straight because you're about ready to get the tech smarts you need to always, always, always be tech ahead. Because if you're not, you're going to be left tech behind in the digital dust. Now, if you're a brand new listener to the Kim Komando Show, welcome aboard. We're so glad to have you with us. And if you're already a listener, welcome back. Now, you can find my award-winning show on over 420 top radio stations throughout the United States. And of course, I'm streaming in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando, with a K, of course. And you can also find the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. That's brand new. Again, just search for my last name, Komando. And, great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always negotiate these great deals with them. So to see all the deals and get the links that you need, just go to one spot. That's komando.com/sponsors. Alrighty, then every single day, whether it's a work day, a national holiday, the weekend, you can count on me to just make sure that we both truly know what's happening in the tech space. And here are the top 5 things that are happening right now. It happened 18 years ago, as a matter of fact. Google reached a really huge milestone. Both the Oxford English Dictionary and Merriam-Webster added the word Google as both a verb and an adverb, meaning, of course, to search for something. This is fascinating. Today, Gen Zers, they don't Google. That's right, they don't. So if they don't Google, what are they doing? They search. That's right, they search. They don't use the word Google, they search. And you see, Google has lost its magic with Gen Zers. They were born between 1997 and 2012. Now, there's also Gen Alpha that was born after 2012. These are the first generations to have their entire lives online. Yeah, they were born with Google, but guess what? They have AI chatbots, ChatGPT, all the others. When they're not Googling, guess what they're doing? They're going to TikTok, yes, to find the answers that they need. And speaking of Gen Zers, not too long ago, you might remember that we all used to look forward to when Detroit would just roll out their newest and sleekest cars. The average age of a car in America is now just over 12 and a half years. And this is interesting. That's the oldest ever. Now, of course, you could say this is inflation, high interest rates. These are huge monthly payments, so nobody's buying new cars. It's Gen Zers that are doing it. They say that they don't want a digitally connected car that exposes their personal information to the Chinese, or worse, their insurance company. And because of all this new tech, a new car becomes outdated quickly. And maybe they don't even need a car because why? There are self-driving cars. There are scooters now. A lot of people are saying, like, what is happening? You have to look at the Gen Zers because they're setting this trend right now. Moving on to number 3, it used to be conventional wisdom that using our phones and our tablets just before bed would just keep us awake. Well, here's what's going on. Experts, of course, claim it's the blue light, and it all started from the National Institutes of Health, the NIH. Yeah, the same folks who lied by saying that COVID did not come from China and that every business and school must be shut down. You had to stay home during the pandemic. Well, in reality, scientists say there is no real research linking smartphone screens and iPads and tablets to sleep disturbances. In fact, 11 studies say the blue light story is just hogwash. What's really happening is that we get so engrossed in what we're reading or watching on the screens that we just cannot put it down to get a good night's sleep. So we're just staying up too late. So tonight, just turn it all off and go to sleep. Coming in at number 4, the most dangerous PIN numbers. With millions and millions falling for scams and cyber attacks each year, you would think that we'd all be a little bit more careful about our personal identification numbers. But you'd be wrong. The numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, oh, so sad for me to say this, are still the most commonly used and most guessed PINs. For 11% of the population, 1, 2, 3, 4 is the only thing that stands between them and every cyber crook. Then there's 1111, 1212, 000, 777. They are the next most dangerous PINs. With only 4 numbers, there are 10,000 possibilities. That's pretty easy for a program to just figure it all out. But you can throw off the bad guys by using random numbers, say beginning with a 0. Of course, don't use your address, your date of birth, the last 4 digits of your social security number, and the numbers 6969. For some reason, that's a big one. Coming in at number 5, the godfather of AI is a gentleman by the name of Ray Kurzweil. And Ray has some wild predictions about what life could be like in 2050. He spent 61 years developing AI tech, and he's known for his accurate predictions. In his 2005 book, The Singularity is Near, Kurzweil predicted that humans would become heavily reliant on AI. Now, in his new book, The Singularity is Nearer, he's sharing what he thinks is coming next. And here's the big one. Ray believes that we are going to reach AGI by 2029. That's like right around the corner. Artificial General Intelligence. That's AI that can match or outperform humans in all cognitive tasks, not just one area. And he really thought this was a century away, but now he's saying, no, thanks to these ultra powerful computers and rapid advancements, it's truly just years away. By 2045, Kurzweil says we're going to hit the singularity. That's a point where humans lose control over technological growth. That's when we merge with AI. Think nanotechnology that links our brains to computers. Kurzweil predicts we're going to solve the aging problem within the next 5 to 10 years. He calls it the longevity escape. You can use that to sound super smart. In layman's terms, it means that humans will no longer die of old age and experience the problems that come with aging. Wow. It's a wild ride we're on right now, isn't it? Jeez Louise. All right, coming up, I have a shocker about who's tracking you on Facebook, how to make money as an influencer, and there's another scam about money I need to warn you about. And of course, we have just the best callers ever, and you wouldn't want to miss me, Kim Komando, so stay right where you are. Hey, how'd you like to win a brand new iPhone 16? Yeah, a brand new iPhone 16. It could have your name on it, but if you don't enter to win, I can't give it to you. So enter to win right now at winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Now, what's the catch? Well, you have to get at least 1 or 2 issues of my free newsletter, which you're going to love, and you can unsubscribe at any time. But again, to enter to win that brand new iPhone, I'm going to be giving away in just a few weeks. So make sure you enter right now while you're thinking about it. Go to winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. Now, I don't know about you, but last time I went to Vegas, I lost like $500 and I was like super upset about it. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, that's when I ran into gambling guru Brian Christopher. Okay, he has built this amazing online empire live streaming his gambling adventures. Yes, I said gambling adventures. He has close to 650,000 YouTube subscribers, and these people just tune in every single day to see how much Christopher's going to win or lose. And I'm talking about real money here. This isn't pretend money. So how in the world does a person build a lucrative business out of gambling and losing real money? Well, to tell us how he's making this magic happen is Brian himself. Hi there, Brian.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Excellent. So tell us a little bit about what you do on your channel.
Absolutely. I play slots for a living. Basically, every single day of the week, we have a new video that drops on our YouTube or Facebook pages of my gambling adventures playing slot machines, either by myself or with a group of fans that join me on the road at events as well. Okay, so the real casinos, you have to get their permission, right? Absolutely, yeah. And so you go to a real slot machine. Now, do you have any insider secrets on how you pick a slot machine that's like, this is going to win? I wish it was that easy. I mean, unfortunately, there is no skill to winning a slot machine. The biggest skill you got to learn is knowing when to cash out when you're up a little bit. That's the number one key you got to learn. and so, because the whole propensity is like when you win a little bit, it's like, okay, I just won like $5 or $10 or $50, $100. So I'm just going to keep pulling that arm or hitting that button just again and again until finally you just start seeing it like dwindle, 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 dwindle. So what's your rule of thumb? When do you cash out? What I tell my followers is if you're up $1, you've already beaten the system. Take that money and run. I don't follow the dollar one per se, but if you're up something, say if you're up $100, feel free to give it another $20, see if you can get something else. I follow the 3 backup spin rule often as well. Do 3 more spins and then we're out. Take that money and run to the next one. And then what if you're losing? Well, the way that slot machines are designed, right? There's no such thing as a cold machine or a hot machine. It's all up to the timing of when you press that button that determines what's going to happen. So You could do 10 spins in a row where they're all losing. You hit absolutely nothing. And the only person that you can blame is yourself because you pressed the button at the wrong time. You don't actually know when that random number generator is going to hit the correct number, though. So if you're on a losing streak and it's affecting you negatively, then just get off. It's better to clear your head. But because I understand how slot machines work, I mean, that 11th spin could be a jackpot. The 12th could be a jackpot too. The 13th could be a jackpot too. Usually it doesn't work that way, but it could be hot, could be not. But it's all up to your timing in the end.
Brian, that's really interesting. What about the rumor that the machines that are in the high traffic areas, that they are more likely to have winners because this way people are like, oh yeah, I just won $100. Yes.
So people do think that the seats at the very corners, the ends as opposed to the ones in the middle of a row are going to pay more frequently. The truth is it does and it doesn't. The payback percentage on both of them are exactly the same. But just like when you're on an airplane, nobody wants to sit in that middle seat, right? Everyone wants to sit on the end. So obviously the ends are going to actually have more jackpots going off because more people actually sit there. But your odds remain the same.
So when you did your first video, why and how and what were you thinking?
To be honest, I have no idea. I have an acting background. I'm from Canada, and I had just moved to the U.S. I had an acting YouTube channel with a whopping 14 subscribers, and I was going to Vegas for my very first time ever. And so I looked on YouTube to find out what casinos to go to, what games to play, and I found a few people that posted videos of themselves playing, and I thought that'd be kind of fun to do. So I recorded a few videos. I posted them over the course of 3 days in a row on my acting channel, and then I stopped. I was never planning to upload another video ever again. To my surprise, though, by the end of that week, I had like 1,000 subscribers, and people were asking when the next videos are coming out. It exploded so fast for me. I got really lucky at it. And now I've been doing this for 7 years. Like you said, we have over 600,000 followers on YouTube, over 700,000 on Facebook as well, and every other channel, of course, we're part of too.
So what's the most you've ever won, and what's the most you've ever lost?
Oh gosh, I hate that question.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's all good. So the most I've ever won on a physical slot machine is around $33,000. If you're talking about playing online slots, I got lucky enough to hit $250,000.
Oh my gosh, you're kidding. Wow.
Legitimately. Yeah, that was earth shattering. But as you know, it's a losing sport in the end. So
yes,
we give it back. As far as my biggest losing day, it was like kind of like a birthday weekend. I think I lost about $25,000 that weekend. I probably lost about 30 maybe some weekends. When I go to the casino, I am just pumping out videos. I'm filming because we upload 7 days a week. We go live a few times a week. Plus, we do another 5 videos of playing online slots. So there's a lot of money going into these. Yeah,
that's a lot of videos. And so you have turned this into an honest to goodness business, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we employ 10 employees at our company as well. And we just launched our new website, fliptheswitch.com, which is, I'm very proud of it. It's like the very first site of its kind where we're really demystifying slots and casinos, online gaming, sports betting, everything. We pump out 2 new articles a day. And we have a really great section where people can ask us their questions about how slot machines work or how jackpots work, or like the questions you were asking me before about, does a certain seat pay more? We pump those out every day now too, so people can learn more about the process. And people are scared to play online. People are scared to even play at a casino. They think that, they're flipping a switch and making you lose all of a sudden, right? Yeah. That's where the name came from, fliptheswitch.com, is because we want the players to feel like they have the control instead.
So why do you think people like to watch you gamble? Why is that?
It's when you think about it, it sounds stupid. Who the heck would watch someone else gamble? Why wouldn't you just do it yourself? But when you think about it, the number one channels on YouTube are little kids playing with toys that other kids watch play with toys. It's other gamers playing online games. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just play your own game? But when you watch it, you really get drawn in. You get sucked in. You feel like you are that person sitting in that chair. You feel the excitement. When I do a live stream, we have over 10,000 people in the chat watching at once at the casino, and they're all chatting back and forth like, oh my gosh, did you see that? It's really fun. It's really exciting. And it's no different than those examples I gave, or just like sports. Why watch football? Why wouldn't you go play it yourself, right? Same idea.
Well, Brian, congrats on all the success. Once again, what's the channel?
Brian Christopher Slots.
Brian Christopher Slots. Go ahead, check it out, folks. I think you're going to love it. Brian, best of luck to you, and I hope you win big.
Thank you, Kim. Hope to see you at the casino.
You got it. All right. So how'd you like to make money as an influencer? And before you sit there and go, oh, I'm not pretty, I'm not young, I don't know anything. All right. Let me ask you just a few questions. Are you great at social media? Do you like to buy stuff online? Do you want to make some money? Now, if you answered yes to any of those, you might have a pretty good side hustle just waiting for you. I'm talking about Amazon's influencer program. It's great for content creators with followings big and small. You get an Amazon storefront where you can create and share content about products, and you can review videos and have demos and photos. And so it helps all your followers decide what to buy. Now, so how do you make money? Well, you get this unique referral link. If someone uses your link to make a purchase, you make money. You earn a commission up to 10% or more per sale. So if just 10 of your followers each buy a $100 product, well, you just made $100 yourself. So if you want to apply, just sign in directly at Amazon's site. Then you link your YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok account. And if you need the exact steps, we have them over at commando.com, and stay right where you are. We have more coming up. Oh, you have to stay with me because, oh my gosh, you're not going to believe how you're being tracked on Facebook. It's this whole Consumer Reports expose that I'm going to be sharing with you. And then later on, there's a scam that's making the rounds. I don't want you guys and gals to fall for it. And before we get to that and all of your phone calls, if you ask any woman what she's going to want for Christmas, chances are she's going to say, I'm raising my hand, the Samsung frame. Okay. When you're not watching your favorite shows, this magically transforms into this digital art frame so you can show art and your pictures. But before you whip out your credit card, if you already have a smart TV, you can show off your photos already. You can turn that TV into this fabulous digital art display, and it's super easy. You just download the Apple Photos or Google Photos app on your TV, and depending on, of course, where your photos are located. You log in, and then you choose slideshow mode, and then your TV will show off all your pictures. But what if you want more than just like family vacation snaps? Well, there are these apps like Artcast. It lets you display classic and modern art from the masters right on your TV. Now, there's a free version, but if you're feeling super fancy, that's when you're going to have to pay up and subscribe to a gallery pass for unlimited access to thousands of famous artworks. And suddenly, that living room just got a whole lot classier. All right, back to the phones we go with Becca in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Hi there, Becca.
Hi there, Kim Commando. I'm so happy to talk to you. I have listened to you for years, and I knew you'd be the perfect person to talk to about what I need.
Oh, yay, I'm here. I'm here. You know what? We should talk every morning. If I'm having a down day, you can be like my positive affirmation.
Hey, I would love to do that.
Okay. So what's going on, Becca?
I am a board president of a small ministry in our town, and we are looking for a storage place online to store our documents. We have nothing now. It's just all over the place. We have a contract here. We have bylaws there. We have hard copies, soft copies, all over the place. And as a board, we're looking for a place online to do that. And I'm not sure Google is the place or Dropbox is the place. I'm just not sure where to go for that. So I would love your feedback and your ideas.
Well, when we start talking about board presidents, and you have board members, then you probably have other administrative people as well.
Exactly.
That may need access to some of the files, but not all of the files.
Exactly.
One of the things that I like about Google Drive, and that's what we use here, by the way.
Okay.
What I like about it is that it's really good for team collaboration. And so, so you could set up various folders. But like, let's say you and I are working on the minutes from the last meeting. Okay.
Yes.
And I type up the minutes and then I send them to you. I share the file with you because we're no longer doing things by email. Okay. We're done with that. So I just share the file with you, and I have questions about what Bob said, what the money's going to look like next year, who's going to bring the donuts to the next meeting, whatever it may be. And so I can highlight those sentences and then put a comment to you and say, can you answer these questions for me?
Okay.
And so it's real time collaboration. And then you get a notification that I have a comment about this or I have a question about this. And so you can pop in the document and then you can do that. And like, let's say there's a board member that we don't want to have access to this for some reason, is that we only share it with you and me and 5 other people, except for that person. And we're not allowed to share it with anybody unless the original owner grants that permission. So you have a lot of permissions for there. And then you can have folders for 2022, 23, 24, 25. It also integrates very nicely with calendars, Google Sheets and slideshows and documents. I mean, it's just, I have found it to be so much easier and better than Microsoft Office 365 any day of the week. And you mentioned Dropbox. Dropbox is just that. Dropbox is really good for just basic file storage and sharing. We're not going to be able to edit a document. We're not going to be able to work on a document together. We're not going to be able to see who changed a document and see what changes they made.
Okay, I see that. Okay, that makes sense.
So Google Drive is also a great option because you said you're a nonprofit, because they give you maybe some extra storage, may give you some additional features that at no cost because you can prove that you're a 501c. So, so if I were the board president, I'd be like going, okay, here we go, kids. We're going to Google Drive. This is what we're doing.
Well, if you're using it, it must be secure and it must be good. So I trust that recommendation for sure.
Well, you're going to love it. And then if you need any help as you're rolling it out, just give me a call back. I'm always here for you.
Well, thank you. I so appreciate that. And it was fun to talk to you, Kim. Thanks again.
You betcha, Becca. Good luck with the project. All right, let me tell you something. When I read this Consumer Report study, I was floored. They looked at the Facebook archives of about 700 volunteers to see how many companies were tracking data and then sending it off to Meta. Their findings, oh my gosh, about 187,000 businesses. On average, each volunteer had data sent to Zuck & Company by about 2,200 companies. Some participants had their details spilled by more than 7,000 organizations. Wow. LiveRamp is the big data broker that had insights on a whopping 96% of participants. And while you don't know who LiveRamp is, mega retailers like Walmart, Macy's, and Home Depot were in the top 100. So what can you do? Well, there's really not a lot you can do, but definitely don't be signing into other places using your Facebook login. And if you can log off Facebook when you're not on it, that's the best bet. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls, as well as I have to warn you guys and gals about a scam that they're just trying to steal your money. And so you need to be really, really careful out there. So we'll get to all that and more. So stay right where you are. All right, back to the phones we go with Bill in Oxnard, California. Hi, Bill.
I have a pretty basic question. My wife and I have older iPhones because all we do is make phone calls with them and maybe look at the internet just for news, and that's about it.
No, you actually use a phone? You actually use a phone to make a phone call?
Exactly so. No, I text too, so I'm doing that. But my question is, I've been seeing all of these things on the internet saying that it's no longer going to be supported. They're that old, which 5 years to me doesn't seem that old, but anyway. Do we really need to be concerned about that? Do we have to go out and buy newer iPhones just so we're not exposed, or does it really not matter that they're no longer supported?
Oh, Bill.
Uh-oh.
You need to buy a new phone. You do. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm sure you have shoes in your closet from 1970, right? Okay.
Exactly so.
Okay, and you know what? And they're still good. They are. Okay, but you need to buy a new phone. Simply because what happens is the bad guys, they're always looking at ways to scam you, right? And even though you even though you don't just use the phone and you look things up on the internet and you text, there's still some vulnerability, especially if you're ever around any Wi-Fi. So that's why you want to, buy a new phone when the old ones stop losing their coverage as far as getting security updates.
Okay.
What kind of iPhones do you have?
I have the original SE. My wife has a 7.
Oh, yeah. You need to get rid of those. You do. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. But you know what?
I'm like a wife. Get rid of that shirt in your closet. You've had it for 27 years.
Okay, and you haven't worn it. So what are we holding it on to? Okay, or those Levi's that you fit into 22 years ago. Okay, but you know what? But you can look at her and you can say, you know what? Because every woman has it. Okay, I know you have your skinny jeans. I know you do. Okay, and we're hoping that they're going to fit one day. We are. Okay. All right. So what you do is you look at how long you keep your phones, which for you and your wife forever. But the iPhone 14 is going to get updates until 2029.
Okay.
The iPhone 13 until 2028, and the 12 is going to be until 2027. So what happens is that when the 15 comes out, everybody gets rid of their 14s and their 13s and their 12s. 12 is 2027. And that's when you and your wife may be able to pick up a nice deal.
Okay.
And you can buy
Great
them.
idea.
You can buy them refurbed. If you go to apple.com, at the bottom of the page, it says refurbished. You can buy refurbished. What I like about if you buy refurbed from Apple is that it comes with a guarantee. And they also will replace the screen if it's scratched in the back and all this other good stuff. You're going to find the phones cheaper on eBay and on Craigslist 100%.
Right.
But I'm not sure that you really want to do that, especially because you may not get that warranty. You may also find them, for sale over on Amazon. They also have a refurb. But again, if you're going to buy a refurbed Apple product, I would just go ahead and buy it from Apple again because it has that guarantee and warranty and all that other good stuff. So, hey, Bill, thanks for your call today. Sorry, I didn't have better news. Hey, Bill, just a reminder, and to everybody else, I'm giving away a brand new iPhone 16 right now. And here's where you go to enter to win. You ready? winfromkim.com. Once again, that's winfromkim.com. And that's how you can enter to win the brand new iPhone 16. winfromkim.com. Judy in State College, Pennsylvania. Hi there, Judy.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm wonderful. What's going on?
Well, a little while back, and it was like a month and a half ago, I was on my computer searching for recipes. Always looking for something better to eat, more healthy, that kind of stuff. And all of a sudden, my computer starts flashing like crazy. It said it had some sort of virus on it, and I needed to call this number. And thinking I was calling Microsoft, and I'm sure it had the word Microsoft in there or something, because I wouldn't have just imagined that. I wouldn't know who to call. Anyway, I called it. And the guy was talking to me. He did a couple of things on my computer. Oh, yeah, you got this Trojan zebra on your computer, and I can take care of that. You just have to let me control your computer. And because I thought I was talking to Microsoft, I gave it to him. And then he said I had to report this virus to the Federal Trade Commission. So he transferred me to another gentleman who sent me a letter saying he was from the Trade Commission, and I could be charged as a criminal, and because I also own property in Florida, and he scared me. The computer flashing and having them have control of it.
Yeah, I got it.
It scared me. It scared me. So I followed every step to the letter.
So how much did it cost you?
Well, total, it was $1,500. Fortunately, I just paid all my bills, so there wasn't a whole lot in my checking account. But they got 12 total, but I sent them 15.
Okay.
It was after I sent them, I thought, I don't think this was right. I really don't. So I called right away to stop payment, and I managed to get $300 of it back for me.
All right.
Yes, at least with something. But and like I said, fortunately, my bills were paid, so I could. And I had children that stepped in to help, older children that helped.
Good. Yeah, because you know what? When you see these flashing lights, I mean, and it says Microsoft and it says virus, and you're not alone. I mean, so many people are falling for these scams. And so now what the question is what do you do now, right? I mean, because
it said don't turn off your computer.
Well, because
that was the first thing I did.
Yes. Well, that was the thing that you should do, is because you're cutting off the connections from the scammers. But we want to make sure is that you don't have anything left over, right? We want to make sure that they're still not in your computer. So
right.
So that's where you want to make sure that you have some solid antivirus security software. Okay, and do a full scan, complete scan. Do every single thing in there. Now, of course, you contact your bank and, report the unauthorized charges, which you do. You want to change. Yeah, I know it's a pain in the neck. You want to change all your passwords. I mean, you got to change them all.
Canceled all my credit cards, changed all my passwords. Yeah. I did do that, but I was probably, at least a day later, it was like, oh my gosh, now I have to do this and this. And still all these months later or weeks later, I'm still finding, oh gosh, I need to do this.
That's a lot.
It's a
lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. I mean, it is.
CVS in Tennessee, as you said, I'm in Pennsylvania. Tennessee sent me a receipt for something purchased under my account. CVS.
Yeah, it's what
through my phone number, but
so that's why you have to go in and you've got to change every single thing, any password that you have, and you want to set up multi-factor authentication, and maybe if you want to go a step further, you use an authenticator app. But I'm really glad that you called in because you know what? Hopefully somebody's listening right now. And they're saying, and if you get a flashing lock and it says that you're Microsoft Windows and somebody's talking to you and say they're from an official organization, the fraud department, the FBI, the FTC, whatever it may be, it's just a scam. It's a scam. If you ever get that flashing light, just unplug your computer at that moment. Just unplug it, and then plug it back in. Do a complete scan. And hopefully that'll be gone. Now, what you can do is file a complaint with the Internet Crime Complaint Center. That's the FTC. And you go to ic3.gov. Once again, that's ic3.gov. Judy, thank you for your call today. So many scams. So many scams. Hey, by the way, if you're just too shy to give me a call, but you still have something that you need help with, you can always trust me. I'm right there for you. But to drop me your questions, I know you want to leave them all over social media, you want to DM, but the very best place for you to make sure that I see your question is to go to commando.com. And then there's a link that says Ask Kim. That's Komando, commando.com. And then on the homepage, just go ahead and hit that link that says Ask Kim. All right, there's a new money scam that's making the rounds. And it's a devious one because it's not one that says, hey, we're going to teach you how to make all this money in crypto. It's something where they're saying, wait, we owe you money. You're like, what? You owe me money? What? How did that happen? So stay right where you are. The 78-year-old father of a Kim Komando Show listener received an unsolicited phone call claiming to be from an antivirus company. Now, here's the twist. The father really is a customer of the company. The caller claimed, oh my gosh, you overpaid. We owe you $100. We just need your bank account number so that this way we can put that refund back into your bank account. Well, guess what? His entire account was instantly drained of almost $100,000. Wow. Have you spotted the red flags, the scam? Have you? Okay, number one, companies never call to say that they owe you money. Okay. And then, of course, you never want to click on a link in an unsolicited email. You never want to provide your banking information. So how did they get his name and his phone number? How did they do that? Well, obviously from some data hack. But who knows where and when, really. So educate your parents, your grandparents, and kids because no one has to be a victim. And make sure that you sign up for my newsletter at getkim.com.